Airline pilots have loads of perks: an astonishing office view, an opportunity to see the planet from the altitude of 35,000 feet, and everyone's respect and admiration. But there are some seemingly innocent things pilots cannot enjoy while flying a plane. First thing that comes to my mind is that pilots should not stand on the wing and yo-yo while airborne. Though it might look like fun, it'll likely spook the passengers. And never mind, he'll get blown off the wing. Actually, here's the real list. No beard. Most commercial airline pilots can only wear a mustache at the most. Coming to work clean-shaven has to do with good old air. If there's an in-flight emergency, a beard may prevent an oxygen mask from fitting snugly enough. And pilots will have problems with breathing. Not all airlines apply the no facial hair rule. Many don't mind pilots wearing a neatly trimmed beard. No coffee for Airbus A350 pilots. Or pretty much any other drinks. Spilling liquids on delicate electronics panels have already led to several mid-flight accidents. Since recently, cockpits have become liquid-free zones on this type of aircraft. If a pilot wants to drink some water, tea, coffee, or whatnot, they have to go elsewhere. No more than 8 working hours at night and 9 during the day. That's why pilots are legally allowed to have a rest during long-haul flights. But you don't need to worry, there are always 2 pilots in the cockpit. If one of them needs to have a nap during a flight, there's usually an extra pilot to replace them. No chit-chat below 10,000 feet. Most plane accidents occur below this altitude. That's why a sterile cockpit rule appeared. It prohibits pilots from doing anything but controlling the plane until it climbs to a higher altitude. Unnecessary activities include having a chat with a colleague. No listening to music or radio. While their mind's occupied with music, a pilot may get distracted, and the consequences can be very unpleasant. Some pilots admit they do sometimes use their headsets for tuning into music at particular flight stages. When a flight's delayed, there are no passengers on board, and the plane has to wait on the ground for a couple of hours. Pilots can also put some music on in the cockpit. No food choice. If you want to have your favorite dish in the cabin, you need to be fast to claim it. Pilots have to eat different meals. Imagine both of them getting bad food poisoning and being unable to fly a plane. It sounds scary. That's why if one pilot opts for the chicken, the other has to pick fish. No choosing your partner. Pilots rarely know who they're going to fly with until they take their place in the cockpit. They're also not allowed to refuse their assigned colleague whatever personal disagreements they may have. No reading books. Unfortunately, finishing an exciting novel mid-flight is out for a pilot. Books are considered too distracting. At the same time, it's okay to look through a newspaper. It has short articles that aren't likely to engross a pilot all that much. No gadgets at any time during the flight. Please turn off your electronic devices or switch them to flight mode. Yeah, most passengers know this phrase by heart. What they might not know is that pilots follow the same rule in the cockpit, only there's no switching to flight mode for them. Nothing should divert their attention when they're flying the plane. Follow the 2-man rule. It means that there have to be at least 2 people in the cockpit at all times. If one of the pilots needs to use the bathroom or drink some water or stretch their legs, a flight attendant has to stay with the second pilot. It's a strictly regulated procedure. Pilots open the door and let a cockpit crew member in. Then they immediately lock it. After that, the door is open again to let the pilot out. On their way back, the entire process is repeated. No landing and going home. Pilots are usually the first to board the plane and the last to leave it. Before the trip, they have pre-flight checks to do, and after putting the plane down and waiting for all the passengers to disembark, pilots have to deal with post-flight checks. No napping whenever you want. It's strictly prohibited for both pilots to have a power nap at the same time, and it makes sense. Every modern plane has an autopilot, but pilots still do the biggest part of the job. That's why at least one of them has to be alert and be able to control all flight stages. By the way, if one pilot is about to doze off, they have to make sure their partner is awake. Glancing at the colleague isn't enough. There must be a verbal confirmation. No passenger visits. Yep, there used to be times when passengers could visit the flight deck if they asked nicely. But now the regulations don't allow pilots to have non-crew members in the cockpit, even though they wouldn't mind having guests. But not only pilots have to follow strict regulations, flight attendants also have a set of rules they can't break. For example, cabin crew members can't eat in front of the passengers. Every time a flight attendant feels an urge to munch on something, they have to hide in the galley. Cabin crew members also can't show up in front of passengers out of their uniform, either at the airport or on the plane. But if a flight attendant doesn't communicate with anyone but their colleagues before a flight, it's okay to change on board the aircraft. They can't bring on board anything they want. Just like passengers, flight attendants have to leave out anything that doesn't go through a security check. No exceptions. Cabin crew members can help you off the plane. Even if the flight has been particularly rough, or if you have problems with walking on your own, they simply aren't allowed to accompany you. As long as there's at least one passenger on board, the cabin crew can't leave the plane. What flight attendants can do is to call someone to come get you. If there's no one to pick you up, you'll have to wait until the plane's empty. Only after that, a cabin crew member can assist you. Flight attendants can't promote their personal interests while wearing a uniform. It means they aren't allowed to ask passengers to subscribe to their YouTube channel. Hey, I'm glad I'm not a flight attendant. Also, they can't request you to follow their Instagram or buy their products, be it cosmetics or clothes. Flight attendants can't move in and out of the cockpit whenever they want. For security reasons, they have to follow a super strict procedure before visiting pilots. Inform they're coming by phone. Punch in a special code on the door. Have another cabin crew member hold the curtain so that no one else can run through the open door. I think we can assume this makes it much tougher for the cabin crew to go trick-or-treating at the cockpit. Cabin crew members can't accept tips. Flight attendants are supposed to be nice and friendly because it's their job, not because they expect additional motivation. Some people are sure that if you have a friend who's working as a flight attendant, you can fly whenever you want for free. Nothing could be further from the truth. Neither friends nor relatives can use a flight attendant perks. Even crew members themselves can have problems using their free flights. For example, if the plane they're planning to take is full, they have to wait for another flight. It can easily ruin their vacay plans. Flight attendants can't allow passengers to hang out in the galley, the aircraft kitchen where food is prepared. You might think it's a nice place to while away the time when you get bored on a flight, have a chat and stretch your legs. But no passengers can enter this crew-only zone. Hey, is there actually a regulation that pilots should not stand on the wing and yo-yo while airborne? Okay, that'd be cool though. Hey, if you learned something new today, then give the video a like and share it with a friend. And here are some other videos I think you'll enjoy. Just click to the left or right, and remember, stay on the bright side of life.